He's the guest.
Just wait a second. Hey, it's Todd Fox here with another episode of Halos in the Infield with the other co-host of the show.
Fernando Mendez. Sorry, you caught me off guard.
Oh, my bad. It was a different intro. And our other co-host, special guest actually of the show, checking in.
Hello, I'm Yvette Villa. I'm the one that has a weird ass name that Todd can't say.
One of many that I can't say on the post game. I slaughter everyone's handles. So
he does.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed.
Everyone.
I'm very good at that. So that being said, we're going to start off this show. We are now into week 2 of the regular season. And, we got through a 1-3 start versus Houston, kind of disappointing on many levels, but the starting pitching was good. We talked about that on our last episode. So on this episode, we're going to get into the Miami series, and then we're going to talk about the Texas two-step with the Astros or the Rangers first, and then the Astros. Maybe touch on them or just save them for the next episode, but we'll definitely talk Rangers. And then before I get into the show and let Fernando take it away, please like and subscribe to the podcast. Give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us in the algorithm moving forward. And then also check out the YouTube page. And most importantly, the website is where you can find everything Halos in the Infield related. So, Fernando, let's get it started.
Well, let me start off by saying Roger Lodge is going to have a chubby after because he predicted a series sweep. I think they're going to sweep the Marlins, the mural painting fish.
He sure did, didn't he?
Yeah, and Artie's just somewhere like, I'm sussed out of my mind, boys.
We'll see if we keep winning. We'll actually see Artie Moreno on television or actually at the stadium. So
don't. I feel like if that happens, he's our bad luck charm. Because remember that first week we were on a roll last year, and then he just starts popping up in games, and we lost.
Oh yeah, we finished a miserable April last year, so. I could definitely see that, but boy, I'm telling you, there's one thing that he's not one of these owners that's there rain or shine, lose or win. He's there only when they're winning. And
he's not a Steve Cohen or who's the Clippers owner, the new one, not the racist guy.
Steve Ballmer.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he's there all the time. You know what I mean?
Or Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban, courtside almost every game. You'd be hard pressed to not see him.
That is true. It doesn't matter what the Mavericks are. He's there, and like he does a lot of things business wise, and he makes the time to be at every Mavericks game. So kudos to guys like that.
Okay, so I don't want to go on a huge tangent. That's what we do on the show. Let's be honest. All right, so who is somebody? So we all want Artie to sell the team at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is somebody on your wish list of who's the guy who you would like to buy the Angels or gal? This is modern times.
Mm-hmm.
Woman can do anything a man can do.
I kind of wish, for some reason, it would have been Kobe Bryant. Or someone like Magic Johnson, because his city-years don't do nothing, but when he takes control of the team, he changes things.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, my money's not on Kobe anymore. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be like I would like to see ownership from the SoCal area, whether it be like a group, because obviously the Dodgers don't have O'Malley anymore. It's a group of investors. I think with a group, it's better. You don't have one guy just like, hey, run it through me. They have to vote on things. I think when you have an investment group rather than a single solitary owner, most of the time those tend to work unless it's a bunch of guys with egos. But yeah, I would like either former ball players to buy a stake. Yeah, Kobe would have been great to be like an investor or a part owner, because the fact that he lived in Anaheim and everything else like that would have been great. And he went to Angel games actually in 2002. He was there.
He was there a lot.
The Dodgers have a ton of owners. I'm looking right now. Like I knew they had a decent amount of people, but I didn't know we're like, let's see. I'm counting at least like 8 or 9 people.
Well, see, the good thing about that too is they're just like the Packers, Packers are owned not by an owner, but by the community and shareholders. So they have to vote on everything. So you're not getting one take. And I think that's why the Dodgers are so good, because they went out and got Andrew Freeman, one of the best. He was like Billy Bean, 2.0, and with Tampa, and he built that organization with no money. And then they're like, hey, you do good with no money. Here's money, and continue to do good. So I think that's why they're as solid as they are, is because they've made the right decisions with ownership, and it
One
trickles
thing,
down.
one thing's for sure. The next owner, I want to be somebody who's going to be super involved. And I don't just mean going to the games. That's whatever, honestly. But involved in terms of like supporting the actual community, because that's the stuff that players do gravitate towards.
Yeah.
If your owner's over there rolling up his or her sleeves, doing beach cleanups or whatever, feeding the homeless puppies at the shelter, or giving pencils and paper to underprivileged kids in Santa Ana, Anaheim, you name it. That's the kind of stuff that does attract free agents. Like, oh, hey, we have a cool owner. He spends money. He's involved. He cares about the players. Not Artie Moreno coming in shorts, blinding everyone. Hey guys, with this Scotch bottle. Have a great season.
Yeah.
Kind of like Steve Cohen, right, of the Mets, I believe.
Yeah, he's a real fan.
Yeah.
I think if they were to do like housing for the homeless, or instead of trying to appease the LA market so much, you have a big population in the SoCal, almost down to San Diego. You could steal some of San Diego's fans by the northern Cali of or northern Cal of San Diego area district.
North County is the phrase you're looking for, Tom.
Well, yeah, North County. Thank you. Way to let me sink there for a while, but you see eventually. But no, there's a lot of areas that they could take advantage and utilize the school areas. Give away free T-shirts to kids, backpacks, like you've said. Fernando's been putting that, pushing that for a while now. If you're able to attack the kids and the families, bring them back. Like I like that they brought the family 4-pack back, but you need to push that more. Maybe give those away too, because on games like this where you only tracked 15,000, you could fill the house.
I know somebody who gives them away.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Sit in the 600s with me, Roger. We don't have a 600. Exactly. You can sit in the right field bathrooms.
The tickets are just blank papers with it says 600 level.
You have to sit in the upper deck bathrooms with Roger.
Yeah.
As you
It's gonna
sit
be
there.
that tree from Angels in the Outfield where Roger and JB climb.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, what do you think's a good way to attract fans before we get into the actual talk where we're gonna get into in this about the Miami series? Yvette, what do you think?
Get a new promotion team. Are you kidding me? Like we have Jared Walsh. We have David Fletcher. Why are we not making shirts or it's about them?
Yeah,
it's always only one player.
Yeah, and it's like Fernando said, James said the other day too. It's like you go in the store and it's all Ohtani. That's it.
Yeah. Which I get it. He sells.
Yeah.
It's a sexy name around baseball. I get that. Nobody here is denying that the gift shop should be primarily. Hell, have an Ohtani gift shop. How about that? I think that's the compromise. Like, the little left field stand or whatever next to the Jersey Mikes, have that be like the Ohtani store or something like that, or in the upper deck to attract people up there. But yeah, in the main gift shop behind home plate, how about all the players, and then upstairs, like on the 200 level, they have the the Hall of Fame store. Yet you can't go there and get old school Angels merchandise. Like, sure, a hat, but I can't go there and get a Wally World jersey. I can't go there and get a Reggie Jackson jersey. But so yeah, marketing. Like Yvette said, so the promotional team should be promoting everybody. We don't just have Ohtani in this team. Merchandise team. How about we sell classic stuff in the Hall of Fame store?
Yeah.
Especially now that they built that little like display case trophy situation where the Angels Hall of Fame is. That's awesome. So how about we utilize that to sell some stuff? For instance, like I think there's Andrelton Simmons 2017 Gold Glove there. Have an Andrelton Simmons Gold Glove T-shirt. There's the Otani All-Star Game shirt or All-Star Game jersey there. That's game worn and signed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have the replica T-shirt of that jersey there. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that will sell. Because people would be like, "Oh, that's awesome!" I remember when Simmons got the Gold Glove. I remember when Otani played in his first All-Star game. In 15 years, when people are saying that.
Not even that, but it's the 20-year anniversary of the,
Yeah,
our
the
championship,
World Series.
and you're
Yeah,
already giving us a sweater.
Yeah,
That's all they give. Like, come on.
yeah, it's not going to work. That doesn't suffice. I mean, like you guys said, like there's a Gold Glove there of Devon White. He was a loved angel. Wally World, like
yeah.
you said, like even a Wally World shirt. Old school. I mean, that would be so cool. Imagine them selling the pinstripe jerseys in there. They could rake in a lot of money with that. A lot of people like that because you can't find them. It's hard to get them.
dude. Yeah, I've tried.
Yeah, so I mean, you could get all kinds of different kinds of jerseys up in there, and it would be pretty sweet for the fans. Like Yvette said too. What about an Adam Kennedy 3 home run shirt or something? There's all sorts of things you could do, but they have missed. I mean, they have missed the bus so many times. And I keep looking north, and I see how the Dodgers are just capitalizing on their success and capitalizing on their history, and it's sad. It really is sad that they're able to utilize everything right. It seems like whatever they touch usually works, and then the Angels just keep crapping themselves.
I think
Within
Artie's just a prideful person. Sorry, Yvette, go ahead.
No. I said with the 90s stuff coming back, you would think they would bring back the 97 jersey or a shirt with salmon or glass in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
The 20th, we talked about this maybe like a month ago, Todd. The 20th anniversary itself for the World Series had so much potential in terms of promotions. That would have been the theme for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I was in charge of the promotional team, I'd be like, all right, we're going to give out one bobblehead a month. The first one will be, blah, blah, blah. The second one will be, like the Eckstein, how about like a bobblehead of like some, like the rally monkey with like some thunder sticks. And instead of like the monkey moving, the thunder sticks move. What? Like this kind of stuff just writes itself.
Absolutely.
Right,
Why are we the ones always trying to do this stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you didn't want to pay for 40,000, you could have made them limited edition, like to the first 15 to 20,000.
Yep.
They would have been
or a special ticket.
Yeah, like for me, like what you guys are talking about, several different players. Imagine if you were to give away, if you had the budget, but let's just say you give away for first 20,000 every, like twice a month, but that adds up to what, 12 players? What if you made bobbleheads that if you collect all 12, they turn into one big like picture of bobbleheads together celebrating, like a scene of a picture of the World Series. You could have did something like that to where, man, I gotta go. I gotta get the whole collection. It'd be worth, but again, they don't think of things like that. They're all, you know what? I think we need another Otani bobble. Let's do one where he's surfing on Huntington Beach Harbor, the pier in the background or something.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't know how to swim. I'm sure he does, but I mean, that guy can do anything. See, like, obviously you can't have that many bobbleheads, but something like that, you know what I mean? Where we have like the entire collection, or even better, like the parade float at Disneyland. Like that would have been a really cool bobblehead set. And you have to like, collect them. And like you said, if you put them together, it builds a parade float. Yeah, hell, you can make the parade float itself like an extra $20 at the gift shop, and that way, like it tells you, put Tim Salmon A and B. That way, you still have to buy that extra parade float. I guarantee you, people would pay for that.
Oh yeah, that would make up money for real, because like that's a great idea. You'd have the banner in the background, like that picture says O2 champions, and you could put like the Sosha bobblehead, the Anderson, the Salmon. Spezio. I mean, come on. When have we had anything Spezio related? That's like one of the biggest home runs ever. And I don't remember anything Spezio, at least after that season. So
one of the biggest home runs in Major League history.
Exactly, dude. So,
I remember that day I was cussing him out because I don't know what was going on with him. That every time he was on the plate, he was screwed up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you son of a bitch, if you don't make this, I'm kicking you out. And when I say the second son of a bitch, I just hear it. And I was like, you did something.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. But enough with our PR ideas, because if the PR would ever watch this, I'm pretty sure like 70% of our ideas that we've done over several episodes would actually either come to fruition or already would at least deny them when they want to make them work. So
Yeah. Oh, you know what? PR team, take them. You can have them. Our ideas
Exactly.
are free because I will be first in line to get those bobbleheads. You know me, Todd. I'm a big bobblehead guy.
yeah. You'd
Big
be right.
bobblehead.
You'd be right there with Ace. Right.
Yeah. And Pete Soto.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
He's always one of the first ones there too.
Yep. So let's talk some winning baseball, because we have no losses to talk about on this show. We went 2-0, starting with the Miami game the other night, which, another well pitched game by the starting staff, and a newcomer, Mike Lorenz, into the rotation. 6 strong innings, first quality start for the Angels.
yeah. He was amazing. I actually got to watch that game, and I was like, this guy's good. And he was a relief pitcher, right?
Yeah, for like the last 4 years, right?
Yep. He hasn't consistently started since I believe 2015.
Yeah,
That's
so
impressive.
7 strikeouts in your Angels debut. That's 2 good debuts for newly signed Angels pitchers, Thor being the other one. And they handled the Marlins in their first victory that they didn't have to stress out about, they were able to just roll right through. Brandon Marshall, the big 3-run homer, Adele with a homer, and both of them had doubles with RBIs. What do you guys think of that tandem right now? The between Adele Marsh, can they be something down the season where we're like, oh man, we're going to come up with a nickname because they're that good, or are they just going to be 2 guys?
If they're anything like Dern or Stanton of an X sign, they should be fine. Odell just needs to learn how to catch and do routes.
Hot take of the night.
Absolutely.
I think they call him Joe and Flo.
Oh, that's
That is what their little nickname is so far.
That would be pretty sick to come up with a shirt for that or something.
Do shirts anymore.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying the Angels, actually. They should be like, it should be.
They definitely don't do shirts anymore unless it's Otani.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think of Joe and Flo right now, Fernando?
I am a lot more sold on Flo than I am on Joe. Joe has just been super wishy-washy. And, I am not a Joe Adele hater. I've been on record multiple times just saying, you know what? Like, the Angels are clearly all in on Joe and Flo, right? They are all in. They have put all the blackjack chips in the center here. We're going hoping for a blackjack here. We're going all in because they cut a $28 million player. Say what you want about Upton. That was a lot of money to give up on. And in my brain, we're essentially paying Joe Adele $28 million. I don't know which one you say was the replacement, quote unquote, for Justin Upton. But in my mind, one of them is getting that $28 million, right? Because you're eating that salary. It's not like it disappears. Nobody claimed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with you right there. It's a $28 million bet by the Angels, so that these guys are going to make it and that they're going to be playing consistent. And, there's 2 things that I find wrong with him. One is not the other guy's fault. Well, one is not Marsh's fault. I think he's just in the wrong spot in the lineup. We've said that night in, night out. And then as far as Adele, I think there's sometimes like on game 1 on Monday where he shortened up his swing and he was really reading the pitches good. And then today he was swinging at stuff all over the plate. Like he widened open his stance and he was flailing at the ball. When he shortens up his swing, he's much more productive. He's more judgmental on the pitches. And I don't know if that's a day-night thing with him, but in the day games, he hasn't looked all that great. So we'll have to see moving forward. And with Yvette's take on the defense, he needs to work on his defense.
I just want to say, like, you signed Suzuki, who can get up behind the plate, but a guy that was raking the spring training, you don't sign back? That just doesn't make sense. I was hoping they would have him in the back burner in the bench in case we needed him, because he's not our Pujols.
Oh,
He's
Upton,
gonna
right?
lift the ball. Yeah, Upton's gonna lift the ball when he needs to. He's not always gonna ground to the shortstop or to the second baseman. I think it was a mistake.
And that's where I will respectfully disagree. Just or if there's one thing that Albert Pujols was good for, hold on, I'm trying to pull up Justin Upton's numbers.
But against lefties, how many lefties do people have?
Good for like a runner on third base, one out. He was able to pop the ball up to the
Hey, your volume's a little off.
That was really the only good thing he could do.
Okay, your volume was off right there, Fernando.
Can you hear me? I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. My headphones
There we
were
go.
plugged.
Oh, you're good now.
What was the last thing you heard?
You said, "Here's the thing," and then that's all.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the thing with Albert Pujols, and I will respectfully disagree with Yvette, that Pujols was at least good at popping out to tag a runner, from third base in a tag up situation. That was really the only thing that he was consistently able to do here in Anaheim. He was really good for placing the ball. With Justin Upton, I just always felt like he was trying to get under the ball. Like Justin Upton's a hitter who could really only go yaya on curveballs down at the knee or like right at his belly, like on the inside part of the plate. He was always able to turn on, but like a fastball up at the zone or even a fastball down the middle, he could never handle. I don't know what it was.
But it seems like he was getting better during spring training. I would have just taken the risk having him as a bench player than having this situation.
So, this will put it in perspective for both of you guys. Justin Upton was an Angel for 5 seasons, right? Mm-hmm. He batted a career .232 as an Angel.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sit over here and talk about Albert Pujols pooping the bed while he was an Angel? Let's talk about Justin Upton for a minute. .232 is not going to cut it when you're getting paid, $20 million plus a year.
Yeah. I think that was a problem with Epler's regime when he signed him back, whether that was his decision or Artie.
Do you really think it was Epler's decision, though?
No, not the way. Yeah, I think it was Artie.
No way.
Yeah, I just and then I think what they took into consideration is Ward's not going to catch, so he's got to be an outfielder. We need him as a 4, and then they were figuring Adele, Joe and Flo in the outfield, and they were figuring that Upton has no good defense in left. I mean, we rag on Adele's defense, but we forget how lazy Upton was in the outfield and how he really did not have to. He had a noodle arm out there. He wasn't going to throw anybody out.
Absolutely.
I remember a play. I don't forget who it was against, but he was just jogging for the ball when we had a man on base, and he was already going home.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the heck are you doing? No, I understand you guys' point, but I can't stand Odell right now. I don't know if he should go back down. I just can't stand him right now. He's not playing well.
I don't remember a player, Fernando. Maybe you guys do as well. That has had this sort of effect on the fans. They are either with him 100% or they're against him. Like you either want him up right now and playing every day, or you're like Yvette, nah, he's got to go down. He needs to marinate more in the minors.
He's super polarizing. Like the way I would describe him is like John Cena when he was wrestling. Everybody had an opinion on John Cena. You loved him, you hated him, but you had an opinion on him. And right now, Joe Adele is John Cena. You love him or you hate him. There's no in between. You know what I mean? And it really is tough, man. Part of me is trying to give him some credit because he's a kid. He is. As of right now, he's still developing. Mm-hmm. He's yet to have an entire full season at the major leagues. But the thing that's so frustrating with him is I'm going to start calling him Katy Perry because he's hot, he's cold. You know what I mean? He's yes, he's no, he's in, he's out. The thing with Joe Adele is make up your mind already, man. Are you ready or are you not ready? If you're not ready, then just tell us. Stop hurting the team. Because he has a day like yesterday, meaning Monday, mm-hmm. where he had a solid outing. And on Sunday he overcorrected himself made up for it by making that catch at the wall, but he also made 2 bad plays that same game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hit a home run yesterday. And today did nothing.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna make a joke. He also got consecutive. Remember when the ball hit him in the head
Oh,
and it
yeah.
went over?
That's true. I mean, I think the part of it to me that gets Angel fans is the fact that he has been anointed the next big thing. And so when you anoint someone the next big thing and they don't exactly produce as fast as you think they are, or as a hype is being dealt out, it can jade you as a fan towards them, even if they're on your team. So just
Clearly,
yeah. So imagine if Trout came out slow out the gate too. I
he
think
did.
He did.
yeah, but like slow.
2011, like Trout was dog water.
Dude.
You know, that's I don't I don't even remember him that much that season. That's shows you what I when I think Trout, I always think greatness. So like
Well, absolutely, but that's
Yeah.
because your brain is now conditioned to think that way.
yeah, I forget that rookie season.
Here's the difference though too. Odell was being compared to to Mike Trout. Mike Trout wasn't
Yep.
being compared to anyone. So he could have gone down and he proved himself. He says, I'm gonna work on this, because I
Mhm.
want to be better. It's not I have to work on this because someone is comparing me to a legend. So I had to prove that I match up with the legend.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Trout batted 220 that first year
That's right.
in
That's right.
2011. So I mean, but immediately in 2012, when he got his first full tip of the cap, batted 326, and the following year 323. So we had 2 out of his first 3 years, at least his first 2 full years, he's in the 300s comfortably, may I add.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off of what Yvette said, is the fact that Joe Adell, like I watched him play in Inland Empire after he was drafted, and like you could kind of tell that he had a little extra swagger to him. And I don't mean like swagger, like confidence. I almost mean like that Johnny Manziel arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that he doesn't have the Johnny Manziel result.
Oh yeah. We don't want that.
Exactly, because Joe Adell is seemingly very cocky, and that's fine. It's fine to be confident. To an extent, you have to be confident in this game. This is a game where you have to know your game and appreciate your game more than anybody because you fail so much. This isn't football. This isn't basketball. This is a game where the best of all time fail 70% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just have to see. I mean, that's the thing about baseball. Every at bat's going to be different. He's getting a full season with the Angels again, and this is a telling season. If we're going to hold on to him long term and give him the shot, or we're going to put more pressure on him next year by getting another veteran, or maybe even just ship him out. So we're gonna have to see what happens. He's got to live up to the hype at some point.
So, do you think? How long into this season do you think the Angels continue to ride the Joe Adell train until they, maybe send him down and maybe look for a stopgap guy? Because playoffs are still the goal right now. We've beat this horse to death that our window is most likely going to be closing here in the next 3 years. We're hoping to reopen that window with guys like Adell and Marsh panning out, because then you don't need a prime Trout. You just need a above average Trout. With these 2 young guys now starting to take the reins as, hey, old man Trout, step to the side. This is going to be our team now.
Mm-hmm.
But how long do you think they ride the Joe Adell train until they start to look elsewhere?
If you're talking about the Angels or Artie,
the Angels
Artie makes all the I don't know. I would say maybe the end of May, beginning of June.
That's a good timetable. Okay, I can see that. Todd?
I'd have to agree with that. I think you have a certain window, like you said, even during a regular season like this. It all depends on the standings too. I think winning can really cover things like and mask things to where you're not looking like, say for instance, last year before Seattle had their collapse in the second half, basically they were winning with a lineup that mostly had hitters right at or below 240 on average. And that didn't come into play till about September when the pitching tightened up and they needed more hits. Then you were like, damn, we have no hitting. You know, the Seattle, I listen to Seattle sports because I'm a Seahawks fan, but they would touch on the Mariners and they would say, damn, you know, we can't hit in September. And then the guy's like, well, you forgot all year that these guys were hitting. The pitching was so good. Now that the pitching's not good, it was masking all the bad hitting. So right now the pitching's good. The first 6 games into the season, they can get away with Ohtani batting 4 for 28 and Adele being very hit and miss and guys like that. But at some point, you're going to need this hitting to get going, you know, and we won't be able to say, oh, you know, we're good, we're 3-3, this and that. If we go under 500, then it's going to become a glaring issue.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing I do want to make very clear is I want to send a message here to Joe Madden. So, Joe, if you're listening, put down the peyote real quick. And Joe, it is time to take Shohei Ohtani out of the leadoff spot. My man is not a leadoff hitter. My man's a lot of things. Shohei Ohtani can do a lot of stuff. We here in Anaheim and Orange County and Angels fans around the nation love Shohei Ohtani. You know, he could sell us water and we would buy it. But the one thing he has not been able to do is lead off. He can do everything else. The guy can literally walk on water, but he can't lead off to save his life. It's just not in his game. There's just some guys who aren't built for certain things. You're better off putting Trout there. I'm not saying that's the move. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I mean, if you're going to put a star at the leadoff guy, at least put a guy who's done it before, like Trout. You know, your best option there is Tyler Wade, Brandon Marsh. Yeah, oh, you know what? I could even see Duffy because Duffy goes up there and has good at bats. Mm-hmm. He gets hits. He pokes the ball through, you know, the 5.5 hole. You know, he finds ways to get on base.
Yeah, before Fletcher forgot to hit, he would have been a good, viable spot too. Well, I'm only going to say real quick, Yvette, because I know you're going to say something real quick, but on Ohtani, he's never been where has he been, Madden, as a hitter to where you can be like, oh yeah, well, he's worked walks before. He doesn't walk. He's feast or famine hitter. So you'd want a guy like that in the 4-hole, 3-hole. At least when you did the Upton experiment last year, he is a patient hitter at times and will work the count and get walks. So that's why he was productive. That move worked, but Upton had that in his history. Where has Ohtani had that in his history?
I don't know. One thing I'll say is I think Joe Madden plays RBI baseball, not MLB The Show, RBI baseball. And I think he tried it on RBI baseball and it worked. And he's like, all right, we're going to roll with it.
Like I said, he's saying, let's play like it's 1985, but we're not. Like, let's play like it's 1985 and have our guys who are patient at the plate, who have speed, and win games. Mm-hmm. Make the pitcher make a mistake. Because if you have Wade on first, you don't think he's going to be dancing around making the pitcher nervous?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah. I would even like it if it was Wade and Fletcher at the bottom if he does not want to put Wade on first, because that's a good waste pitch. And then have March at first.
Yeah, I mean, you could flip the lineup like that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you know, you want to see 1985 baseball. You saw it 10 the game, you know, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was a great last inning, right? Situational base running, you know, clutch hitting. I mean, you know, granted it wasn't a great hit, but it got the job done. It was hit hard enough where the shortstop bobbled it. The problem was that the shortstop threw the ball before it was in his glove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was already throwing it. He didn't even have the ball yet.
And I'll just say this in all 4 major sports, and you could even throw soccer in there as a major sport too. So it'd be 5. Speed kills. Speed kills in every which way. And if you're, you know, going back to the 80s, like Yvette was saying, a lot of those teams had like guys like Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, Tony Phillips, all these guys that were speed leadoff guys, Lance Johnson. Just they created havoc on the bases. And they were just great table setters for all of the power hitters of the day. And I just don't understand what the focus is of putting a slower, you know, he's a fast power hitter, but he's not as fast as these other guys. And it's just I don't understand that logic. It just doesn't make sense to put all your power hitters up front and not have them in situational spots like normal teams do. You don't always have to be progressive. Can we just stick to this? Is one time I want them to stick to a script, and they're just not doing it.
I think that's a mistake sometimes that when statistics comes into play because they're not focusing on game situation. They're focusing on what you could do at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of playing chess and move ahead of the player for with the pieces you already have.
Yes, it seems like we're playing Connect 4. He's just taking the chips and we're like, eh.
The problem is, show me the statistics that tell you that Shohei Ohtani should be leading off. Where are those statistics?
Yep.
Where is your reasoning?
Yep.
Seriously, there's nothing at all in the world as to why I think it's a good idea for him to lead off.
Yeah.
Zero.
It's on his PlayStation, so
More like his Nintendo 64.
Well, let me tell you this real quick. You guys play video games, obviously, but baseball back in the day. Let's just say you have Albert Pujols, Cardinals before he comes to the Angels. At any time when you're playing those video games where he's on the All-Star game all the time or on the video game best in his career, would you consider working your lineup if you're a Cardinals fan and putting Pujols to lead off? No. Why would you do that? With the Angels when Vlad Guerrero was here? Would you take him on the video game and move him from third to first? No.
Yeah. No, I've always put my fastest guy first. Just kind of always how it's been with me. You know, I want speed at the top of my lineup. Like I've told you multiple times, you have a guy like Tyler Wade on there. Let's just say he bunts on base, he's on first. You got Tony Two Bags coming out, batting second. All of a sudden, Tyler Wade could be at third base or home if Anthony Rendon gets a double. If he decides to give a crap that day.
Yeah, or he singles to right and Wade gets over to third. You have a first and third situation for Ohtani.
Or Trout.
Yeah, either way.
Exactly. I've always thought your best hitter should be batting third.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you have your all-out guy batting cleanup, like Ohtani. Ohtani is an all-out guy. He is going to swing out of his shoes every time. That's just his game.
Yep.
But you can't do that as a leadoff hitter. You can't go up there and like, oh, I'm going to hit a bomb.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. It's never worked in the game of baseball. Why would it work now? So
yeah. No.
So we want to move on to game 2, which was today.
Yep.
All right. Game 2 featured what was his name for the Marlins, the youngster? He came over from Oakland. I should have had that up here. Let me see.
As should I.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't pull that up here.
Luzardo.
Okay. Luzardo gave out hat tricks today. The Angels had quite a few hat tricks. I think it was Marsh, Ohtani, and Stassi between them struck out 9 times. So he was handing out hat tricks to them. He pitched only 5 innings because he threw a lot of pitches, but 12 strikeouts, career high. Rendon took him deep though, took Tanner Scott deep after Luzardo left, and it should have been enough. But our boy, which we touched on in the post game, which I'm sure he has something to say about him, Fernando was trashing Mike Myers, and rightfully so, as he surrendered a 2-run homer. But Hergot slowed him down. Rossiel did his job in the 9th. And then the Angels got something that they normally don't get, and that is a benefit of a call, which was the runner was, Wade had slid second. His foot was being blocked from retouching the bag by the second baseman's leg, who came down and blocked it. The tag was applied on Wade when he was clearly off the bag, and for some reason New York and the umpires said safe. And then the next pitch was wild pitch, Wade to third, Stassi hard hit ground ball, bobbled by Rojas at short. Good home, drive home safely. Angels win 4-3.
Yeah, it was an interesting ending. Mike Myers had to make it interesting for us, Michael Myers kills and Mike Myers kills leads.
What did you think about the game, Yvette?
Well, I watched the last part of it, and then I forgot who it was. I think it was Ace. So, like, why are they bringing Mike Myers in? I'm like, they brought Blowpin Myers in?
Yeah.
Like
King of the
that's
Blowpin.
ridiculous. Yeah, I always um send that to Todd. Blopen Myers ruins it again. Um,
Well, let me get your idea or your grades right now because I don't think it's a Wise problem, Matt Wise problem. But what do you two think of the way that Madden has uh, handled the bullpen and with either bullpen spots or positions or decisions the first 6 games?
Starting, I kind of give them a B because they're solid.
Mm-hmm.
They just haven't gone like long innings yet.
Mm-hmm.
The bullpen maybe about a C minus because we have Myers there, and then the 12-6 loss kind of pissed me off because we shouldn't have lost by that much.
Yeah, we get 8 runs.
Yeah, so starting pitching a B because we've been solid. It's the bullpen that I give a C because I feel like we're still in the same rut.
Okay. What you got, Fernando?
I agree with actually those almost spot on. I mean, a B is good. I mean, it's kind of hard to get a good gist of the starting rotation. They've done well when they've been in there, but the problem is they have not been in there for extended periods of time. And I get it because of the shortened spring training. These guys have to be on a pitch limit. And I mean, we're sitting here complaining about a pitch limit, but also, I mean, we've been the kings of of injuries for the last couple of years. So for once, it would be nice to be able to monitor these guys enough, especially because they invested so much in a bullpen. Yeah, and the bullpen, I think C is a good grade for what it is. I mean, Joe Madden has done some mismanaging in the bullpen, which is hard to believe because it's almost a situation like if you blindfold yourself, point at the list, and just go with whatever guy finger you landed on. It seems like in theory you can't fail, yet Joe Madden's found a way to make a couple of bad calls. But I mean, Tepera, Loop, even Rysel got brought into the wrong situation. I mean, Rysel was never good in non-safe situations last year. And it was Monday night where he brought him in unnecessarily and he gave up a bomb.
Yep.
It's like, I understand, he still got the win. That is all that matters, but it wasn't a save situation. Why would you bring him in to inflate his ERA? Oh, you want to get him some work in. Okay, well, the time to get him working will come. Rysel doesn't strike me as a guy who needs to stay hot.
Yeah, I totally agree. In that game too on Monday, when they got that 5th run, I'm like, okay, it's a non-save situation. I thought they'd sit him down. You're technically getting work by throwing that bullpen session anyway. So you could have just sat him down and then let Tepera finish it out if he didn't have time. But there was time to warm up another pitcher. There was plenty of time.
Maybe that's the time to put in Mike Myers. Just saying.
Exactly. So unfortunately, we put Myers in a lead situation, and look what happens. So.
And I know Mike Myers works hard. Like I said, when I called you during the postgame, I had on very good authority that he's one of the hardest working people in the clubhouse. And I don't disrespect the work that he's done to, perfect his craft in his opinion. But, when the results aren't there and haven't been there for the bulk of the last, year and a little bit of change that we have now, it's just, how could you keep justifying it?
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people who are like, well, his numbers were good last year, but it's like, well, it's kind of like Steve Cishek, right? Steve Cishek's numbers on paper were great, but it was a lot of inherited runs. Mike Myers was up and down, just like Joe Adele, hot and cold.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in.
I think with Myers is that sometimes he overthrows and gets in his head too much.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these pitchers is psychological. I mean, I think they need to take a step back, breathe in, and then pitch.
Yeah, I agree. They get he's not the type that is good when he's down 2-0. He doesn't have that pitch to where he can get himself back into the account. And so his thing is get me over fastball or let me throw a slider out and over the plate. And that's when he usually gets hammered. So I think the Mike Myers experience should end at some point this year, unless he turns the corner. You can't keep putting him in a situation like this where he's got to hold a lead or keep the game tied because that kind of scares me. Because even right now, Hergot technically pitched an inning 2/3 today, but he pitches to so much contact. I'm scared that like Houston the other day when he pitched, he didn't make bad pitches. It's just those guys were hitting them where the Angels weren't. And when you don't have the kind of stuff that's electrifying to where he can get away with it, you're going to get lit up. And he doesn't have that kind of. He has a herky jerky delivery, but he's another guy that I could see maybe not stay on the roster too long because he can. When he's bad, he's bad. And so Myers the same thing, dude. If when he's hittable, he's hittable. The guys, it seems like they know it's coming.
Time will tell what happens with, a couple of those, I don't know what kind of word to use. I don't want to say dispensable, but the interchangeable parts of the bullpen, the Quejadas, the Myers, the Hergets. We'll see what happens. Will they go out there and maybe get a couple of pieces? Will they find them in the organization? Will certain guys step up? The Buttries and the Wances, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe even Sam Bachman.
Yeah, he there's a very good chance he could make the club this year.
Yeah, at least out of the bullpen.
Mm-hmm. So, any final thoughts on the Marlins series?
No.
No, I just think we got lucky.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, on Monday was a runaway game, but today, we definitely that call was the difference.
Absolutely, and it was but we'll take it, right? I mean, again, these are games that we would have lost for sure last year. So
Yeah, no kidding.
Now that we've had some time, I don't want to get too into it, but now that we've had some time to marinate on the Astros series, do you feel better about the series? I understand we lost, 1-3 in terms of games, but now that we get to reflect a little bit, we were in almost every game, except for Friday's game. Besides that, they were all winnable games.
Well, I mean, you just take the good with it, which is the pitching, but I think you just got to look at the way the hitting did not perform. That's why I take out of it. You get any kind of good hitting in games 3 and 4, and you're walking out of there with a 3 out of 4, and turning the table.
I would agree with you, Todd. It has nothing like spring training. I bring it up because you saw them play smart baseball, play small ball. And with Ohtani and Trout being in the 1 and 2 spot, you can't do that. Because Ohtani is going to think launch angle, which is something he shouldn't be thinking about. Just hit the ball to the middle. I think it said learn how to hit first before you launch it out, because home runs will come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for a guy like him, when he hits home runs when he's not trying.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get Roger excited.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny because the first 2 weeks of spring training, they had the traditional lineup and they were doing what Yvette said. And then the last week or so or less of spring training, they went to that Ohtani Trout thing. And we were calling it right away like, this is a stupid experiment. And look where we're at. Trout's got a solo homer to his name, and that's it. And Ohtani's got 0. I mean, you could have just sat him the first 6 games. You would have got more production. That's sad.
Is Ohtani leading the team right now in nacho nights?
Yeah, so far he's got 2 nacho nights already.
Man, Rendon doesn't have a single one, huh?
No, he got away with it because of his defense.
Yeah, okay. And today because of the homer.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, you didn't get nacho night to Myers?
No, you missed an opportunity.
I would have had they lost. Had they lost, it would have been a nacho night. But
fair enough.
But
what you could do with that, wait, Todd. What you could do with that is instead of his face on the nacho, you could put a Halloween mask and put the hat over his head.
That would be a good idea, actually. I got to get with either Randy or Chase on that one. But let's go over the starting rotation for the or starting pitching for the 4 games in Texas. You got Shohei Ohtani who's going to lead it off on Thursday. He's 0-1 with a 1.93 ERA, 9 strikeouts versus Dane Dunning, who did surprisingly well against us last year. He's 0-0 so far this year, 5.40 ERA, 4 strikeouts. What do you think about that opening start in Texas?
I think Ohtani has a good shot of actually winning.
Okay.
I just hope he's not at the top of the lineup, which I'm pretty sure he is. I just hope someone's listening to this in the Angels organization. Mark, if you're listening to this, just tell him to hit the ball to the middle. I don't care if it gets caught by the pitcher. Just try to hit it to the middle.
Yeah, yeah. And hopefully they're not shifting though. That's the problem though. That shift kills them too.
I thought they got rid of that. And then
Next
they
year.
brought up the news, and I'm like, no, it's
Yeah,
not going to be good.
next year, unfortunately. So what do you think, man? What do you think, Fernando? Who's got the advantage in tomorrow's game?
It's got to be Shohei, right? I mean, he came off a pretty decent opening day start. I mean, he's got a 1.93 ERA, 9 strikeouts. I mean, he struck out 9, like what, 4 and a third or something like that, 4 2/3. So, yeah, you got to give the edge to Shohei.
Absolutely, and so that's going to be a good matchup to start the Texas series there, in a place where again, hopefully Otani can turn the tide and hit his first home run over there. And then we don't have a pitcher for Texas on Friday, but we are starting Reed Detmer. He's 0-0 with a 4.5 ERA. So, what do you think Detmer's is good for that spot on Friday?
If he locates well and just has confidence in himself, I think he is. I mean, that kid has like so much passion that it's just infectious, and I just hope he gets a win because I think people will go nuts,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fernando?
Sorry, connected to my AirPods for whatever reason. I'm not even using the AirPods. I think that Saturday game, or sorry, the Friday game with Reed Detmers might be the one we lose in the series. Not because I think Reed Detmers is going to have an atrocious outing, but I mean, we're bound to lose 1 out of the 4, and as Reed Detmers is still getting comfortable while he gets his feet wet in the majors. I mean, we're still talking about a guy who's got less than 10 career starts. So, I think naturally there's still going to be a learning curve for him. So, I would imagine he'll probably go about 5, maybe 5 2/3. He'll get close to that 6 inning mark, give up about 2 to 3 runs. But I do think he'll be able to pitch well enough to stay in the game till almost the 6th inning, giving the team a chance to win. But, I think that's the game to lose the series.
Okay, fair enough. And then that would send us over to Saturday's game, Noah Syndergaard versus Taylor Hearn. Syndergaard 1-0 with a 0 ERA. Taylor Hearn 0-0 with a 2.25 ERA as a lefty for the Texas Rangers. That's your Saturday start. Who do you guys favor in that one?
Only because he has Aaron 800's number. I hope he wins. I just don't have a definitive answer because I don't know how the other guy pitches. So it's kind of like, if I say Noah, I'm saying it because I'm an Angel fan. I'm not saying it because I'm judging baseball. So undecided on that one. I'll go with undecided.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, Taylor Hearn last year had a 6-6 record, 4.66 ERA, played in 42 games and started 11. So, I mean, I'm going to take Noah Syndergaard. I think Noah Syndergaard has a chip on his shoulder. I think he's got something to prove, and I think he's playing to get an extension in the middle of the season. So I think he's going to have a way better first half than potentially he will have a second half. So I think he stays hot. I think he builds on a good first start of the season. So I think he's going to get the W.
Okay, cool.
He'll have a quality start.
No, that's nice. That'd be nice to have him have back to back. Then the wrap up game on Sunday, the quote unquote getaway game. It's be our boy Jose Suarez. He's 0-1 with a 4.15 ERA. He didn't pitch bad in his last start. He's going to face against another lefty, Martin Perez, who's 0-1 coming into this game.
He's 0-0.
Oh, he's 0-0. Okay, I thought he saw 0-1. My bad. Okay, yeah. So he's
Oh, sorry, you're right. Oh, that's weird. So I clicked on his name and he is 0-1. But when you're looking at it like on the pitching matchup, it says that he has no record. So my bad.
Oh yeah, I see the same thing now. Yeah. Okay. No, we're both right actually. Yeah. Okay. But he's got a loss so far. He pitched only 4 innings. I think Suarez only pitched 4 2/3. So these guys are going to look to have more innings in this game. Who do you guys like in this one between Perez and Suarez?
I think Suarez loses it.
Oh wow.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel it. It's just nothing to do with him as a pitcher. It's just I don't know. Sometimes he could be very cold, and when he's cold, bad things happen.
Okay.
But I think if he could just like slow down, do the things he's been doing because he has been consistent in that first game, we could do it. But I feel like he loses it.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the pitching, just a feeling.
Okay.
I mean, I think El Demente has something to prove. He's got some nasty stuff, man. He's got some really good overpowering breaking pitches, and I think he's really going to go above and beyond this entire season. I think he's going to be one of the biggest surprises. I mean, he had a really nice year last year. I know he gained a lot of respect from the Halo fam. But I really think this year he's going to set himself apart. And I think he's going to slowly start to turn into a number 2 or number 3 piece in a lot of these starting rotations.
Yeah, you could definitely see a Valdez with Houston kind of feel with him. I don't think he'll get to that level, but I think I agree with Fernando. I think he's going to become close to elite here pretty soon. Although I will say one thing. I wish we knew the lineups ahead of time because I have a feeling whoever, and I'm hoping he only starts one game, but whoever Kurt catches for is going to take an L in this series. I mean, you would think a catcher's number one thing that he's supposed to do is catch, and he's dropped more balls than, well, I could insert a sexual reference or, something,
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, there you go.
That's just a generic name people throw out there with sex jokes.
There you go. She's made more boys come of age by dropping balls. There you go. See, there you go. There you go.
No.
But I'm just saying.
Canceled.
I'm just saying, Kurt's terrible, and I didn't like what he did with Suarez's last start, so. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to give my inner rally, Chris. Give me 3 out of 4 against Texas.
Is that your Rogers lock?
That's Rogers lock on AM 830. 7-1 for tickets. 7-1 for John Stamos.
Call today. Look in his eyes tonight. His eyes are so dreamy.
Love me some Stamos.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
But Todd, you bring up a great point. If Suzuki is behind Otani or Syndergaard, we're gonna lose the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and it's not like he's a Mike Napoli who would sometimes make errors and bad throws, but then would make it up with his at bat. It's like his Suzuki could make a couple errors, and you're like, well, yeah, but he's not going to do shit in the box. So
I just don't know how he got brought back. I really don't. There's just some guys who I say I don't understand how they got brought back just because I'm frustrated because I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
But he's just really I'm just like, you ever just stare at somebody and wonder why they're here?
Yeah.
like Rendon when he's at the box.
Yeah, but at least Rendon was something. At least Rendon, you have that hope and potential that he'll be what he was in Washington. Kurt Suzuki, what are we hoping for? That he'll be the same 230 hitter he was with Oakland? Same subpar defender? What are we hoping for here?
I don't know. At this point, I'm thinking 230 would be great. But I know we wanted more production out of our backup catcher, and it's obvious that Madden does not like playing Stassi every day, or even like 3 or 4 times a week. It seems like he sits him. And look at the other day he didn't do much at the plate, but he got 3 walks.
Stassi,
and then today he had productive outs. You think Kurt's going to give you half that? No.
But here's the thing, with Kurt Suzuki and wanting to get Mike Stassi off his feet a little bit, if we just wanted a literal backup catcher to go up there, I mean, why wouldn't we just keep Matt Dice for that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, he's younger, he was brought up in the system. Just he can hit $120. I mean, if that's what we're going for here. I guarantee you, at least he won't make as many errors. And I've never really seen Matt Dice call a game, but I'd be much more interested in seeing a kid develop at his position than, Father Time himself behind the home plate, donning the tools of ignorance.
Yeah, and then also real quick, I mean, Stassi gives you the element from the left side. So you could switch things around if you're having a dominant right-handed pitcher. You could play the analytics and say, hey, in the 6th inning, let's go to Thaiss. But we're not thinking like that, are we?
Yeah, no. Kurt Suzuki hit bomb.
How many times are we going to hear Patrick O'Neill or Gooby? I love both those guys, but zoom in on his fingernails. They're all, hey, Kurt paints his fingernails so the pitchers can see his fingers. Well, that's all great. He still has to catch. Which he can't.
That's funny.
How about he starts painting his talent? Maybe he can start seeing that too.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think it will be like a Mike Napoli, Jeff Mathis kind of thing where Mike Napoli was frustrated that he wasn't getting enough playing time or not playing the right position? And that's one of the reasons he left?
No, I don't think so because Matt Stassi just re-signed a contract.
Yeah, I think we're stuck. I don't think Stassi would get too frustrated unless the narrative came out that he couldn't do it. Like if people like us had a bigger voice and we were saying, man, how come you're not starting every day? You got an extension, blah, blah, blah. But I think with the extension he got, he's not that type of player that Napoli was. And Mike had such a hard-on for Jeff Mathis. I mean, there was no way we were going to keep Napoli. I don't care if he hit 45 homers. For some reason, he loved Mathis calling the games, probably because Napoli would shake off Social when Social would call in the pitches. Mathis is all, yes, sir, you got it. He was a kiss-ass kind of catcher. So defense, he loved defensive catchers, and unfortunately, we have Stassi's not a defensive catcher, but neither is freaking Kurt. So I don't see the justification of holding on to Kurt. There really isn't anything other than you like his reggae music. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. I really don't know. I just there was better options. Heck, even in the organization, there's no justification for it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. He's part of the team. We can all just keep making burner accounts and memes about him. So. Kurt Suzuki's batting average should be the newest burner.
Yeah, that's true. Well, any other words on the series upcoming in Texas? What do you guys want to see happen besides getting W's? What needs to happen for this team?
DFA and Kurt Suzuki. That was my inner grill master. Where's my socks?
Grill master is going to be so excited. You mentioned his name like 4 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he doesn't save the audio and post it.
He will. Shut up, Grill Master. He's not like Rally Chris, though. Rally Chris gets like a hard on for his name. He's like, oh, yes, call me Rally Chris.
Like we've been saying, if they change the lineup, we'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But if Joe keeps saying, oh, this is working, I don't know what the hell he's saying, but yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I could see if I'm with you, Yvette. If I could see if these guys are hitting the ball, but they're just hitting it right at people, or if they're having good at bats, but they're striking out after 6 pitches seen. I'd be okay. It's just not there yet. The production will be there. They're just for whatever reason it's not working. But I could see where you're going. But it's like you two have said. It's where is the evidence that this shit is working? That's where it's real frustrating as a fan.
Dude, freaking knowing Joe Madden, so my guess, so he probably has like a fish tank in his van, right? And this fish tank probably has like 9 fish in there, and he probably renames them every year, like depending on the players. And my guess is that one of them named Shohei was just like swimming around counterclockwise. And he's like, Shohei used to swim clockwise. So then he moved him to the front of the fish tank and he started swimming clockwise again. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to bat Ohtani first. This is a sign from God. Joe Madden strikes me as one of those guys. I mean, I told you off air, Todd, that I made the mistake of listening to the Roger Lodge show for the first time in a couple years, like this week. And he was talking about, he told a story of when Joe Madden made a lineup based on that one song, the Social Security song. Well,
Okay. I know which one you're talking about. I know.
I'm blanking on the numbers. Everyone's like screaming at their like.
Wait, 877.
Yeah,
8675309.
Yeah. So apparently he made a lineup based off of that song, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that Joe Madden does. The Joe Madden experience, folks.
So he really loves Jenny, huh?
I think
That's
he
the name of the
really
song.
loves peyote,
Yeah.
which is fine, bro. You live your life. You live your best life. But when it starts affecting the lineup,
Yeah, under how many lava lamps does he own? 10 or less?
over.
Over, okay. Oh
Is-
man.
Dude, Cheech and Chong live in that band too. Like,
I know, right? I know Cheech goes to his house, he's like, you can put weed in that, dude. Can put weed in anything.
Yeah.
that episode of The Simpsons where he goes, Dave, I'm not Dave. Dave's not here, man.
Over under that Joe Madden smoked out of a baseball before.
Oh yeah, he drilled a hole in it.
Like an apple?
Yeah. He's like, bro, there's like nothing better than smoking dope out of a core of a baseball.
And that is right there where we get told the organization's like, yeah, all that stuff they said we said yesterday is over.
Like you want to they're like, you want to interview with who? No.
I'd like to interview Joe Madden. I'd like to ask him, ever smoked out of a baseball? I would too.
Oh yeah. I would like you to ask him, were you naked at Woodstock or did you keep your clothes on?
Were you liberated? He's like, I'm liberated. All I wore was my underwear.
He's like, I don't remember who liberated me, but I'm sure was liberated.
Oh, God. Come on that disturbing note.
Yeah. So again, like and subscribe to the podcast and YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating. Thank you so much, Yvette, for coming on.
Oh no, thanks for inviting me. Sorry if I got like a little annoyed. If I annoyed you guys. I mean,
No, you're fine.
Not at all. We'll have to do this again for sure.
Yeah, no problem. I got a question for you guys real quick though.
Yeah.
How old were you guys when they won the World Series?
Hey, I posted this on Twitter
Oh,
a couple days ago. I was 6, 7. I was 7.
I was 11.
I was 20. I was 21. Yeah, I was 21 with my daughter on my back, and she was watching the parade and everything. So yeah,
Oof.
that dates me.
Wait, weren't you 22? I thought you were 21 on when 9/11 happened.
Oh, that's right. I was 22 because September of that year I turned 22. Yeah, so I was 22 and my daughter was 1 year old.
For everyone's like, how do you remember that? He told me that one time. How do you ever forget that? Well,
you can't forget that.
This guy turned 21 when the whole Twin Towers travesty happened. So it's like that's pretty easy to remember, unfortunately.
Hey, and real quick on that, dude, that was when that happened. I was working graveyard, and I remember the shift was about to end. It was about 6:30 in the morning, so it was 9:30 New York time.
Yep.
So the first tower had just went down, and you saw all these people walking in, and I don't care what skin color they were all pale white faced, and I was like, what's going on? And they were like, bro, the world might be ending right now. We might be in World War III. I'm like, what? And then I go home, turn on the news, and it was like the weirdest. It looked like a movie. Yeah. It didn't look real.
Well, especially because like for the first one, like people still thought it was like an accident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I can only imagine how much that would have how weird of a day that must have been for you, especially. You know what I mean? Like you're all super lit. You're like, hey, I'm turning 21. Let's go let's go to the bars, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. Well, there was a tragedy in New York. It's cool, whatever. And then all of a sudden the second one hits you. You're like, man, it wasn't a tragedy. It was a strategized attack,
Well,
which was still a tragedy, but you know what I mean.
let me just put it to you this way: there's never been a birthday celebrated by me since.
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Well, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, it's all about a moment of silence for all the lives lost." You're like, "It's my birthday," when it's like, "No, Todd, that's you can celebrate on the 10th or the 12th."
Yeah. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to have a cake on that day. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That day was tough.
Absolutely.
I saw the second plane hit.
Oh wow.
So I was like, "Are we going to school?" I was so confused. I was 10, so I was like really confused.
That's fair. I was 6. I was just lit. I didn't have to go to school, but I mean, as a 6-year-old, you're kind of in your own naive little world, right? So.
I know your
I
parents
think my school still did, but we were just on lockdown.
Oh, okay.
You still went to school? That's weird. Yeah, no, my school
Yeah.
was closed down. My parents were home from work. You know what I mean? I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, right? Like, oh, I didn't go to school and my parents are home. Granted, nothing was open, so we just kind of sat at home. But like I said, as a 6-year-old, you're in just your naive little world.
Only thing I remember that was traumatic for like I think 3 or 4 days after was I worked under a flight pattern, so the airplane's going to LAX, and you'd fly over like every 5-10 minutes, and you go out on break and it's sun quiet out there because there was like a no-fly zone. They turned all the planes were all grounded, and for days there was no planes. That was the weirdest thing for the whole entire time I worked there. It was just plane after plane after plane, and then nothing. So that was weird.
Wow.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll save these stories for when we get closer to that date as a homage to, as a tribute to everybody who lost their lives. So,
absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so for Todd Fox and the other host of the show,
Fernando Mendez,
and the special guest,
Yvette. Thank you guys for inviting me. I had a real fun time.
absolutely.
No problem.
We'll catch you guys later.
All right, have a great night.
Viva los Angelitos!